can hear it. Like, oh, this guy.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
My God.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Line for line is really where you need to be. A platform that's really made for folks like you and me. You can find it all no matter what you seek. Whether you calling or you listening, tune in every week. Line for line. Oh yeah, I'm going line for line.
And just like that, we're back on another episode of Line for Line. I have a very gracious young man in the building today. A young man who I've only known for a couple of months, but he's teaching me all the ropes, trying to make me the best content creator that I could possibly be. I'll let him introduce himself to the world.
I'm Andrew Meier of Andrew Meier Photographer. Do you want me to tell people what I shoot?
Yes, sir.
Stuff like that. I shoot weddings, commercial, sports. I shoot for the Badgers, local sports, portraits, stuff like that, food, basically everything but babies.
Yeah.
Babies ain't my thing. Everything else is what I do.
All right, before we get ready to get started, young man, just tell them a little bit about you. What got you into photography? Where did that start? Because obviously you're from Kenosha, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we went to school together.
And
remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
My sister's gonna be like, oh, I remember him. I went to school to be a weatherman and a physical therapist. For a few years, I went to Parkside, then up to Milwaukee, played volleyball, and then came back to Gateway. Didn't work out. Kind of dropped out, a little bit lost, delivering food at Panera, like college kid, just trying to figure out what you want to do with life. And kind of bought a camera on a whim. I kind of have two stories. Like I bought a camera thinking that I was going to use it for a couple days and return it. Like you kind of just try things out and then return it. And then the other one was like dropped out of college, a little bit lost in life, trying to figure something else out. I was never in art in school or anything like that. Grabbed a couple shots, and one of my first times using the camera was like my most popular photo I've ever taken.
Stop playing.
Yeah. Like me getting into photo actually came from my aunt wanting to buy this photo of a trolley. Did I send it to you?
I don't think so.
I'll send it to you later so you can post it if you want. She wanted to buy the photo. I'm like, no way. Like someone wants to give me money for the thing I just did.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I kind of like experimented with it. And then after a while, just the idea of me making my own money, not money for somebody else. And then also like, it kind of turned into when I started doing portraits, like people wanting to look their best. Like the importance of a senior photo was the first like important shot that I got hired for. And I was like, holy crap. People are trusting me with that. And then after a while, it's turned into an addiction. Like, oh, I got to do more. I want to do more. And then it turned into weddings. And then after that, my first commercial shoot was shooting croissants that get made for
those
quick.
are so yummy.
Yeah, it was actually a factory right over here that are put into Quick Trip and Burger King across the country.
Nice.
And then that was shot for a food magazine. And then from there, kind of pushed a little bit more into commercial, realized that like shooting food and objects is really cool, like making a photo to sell rather than telling a story. There's different kinds of photographers, telling a story or like a photo for a purpose. And I kind of like the selling part of it.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Yeah.
Now, when you got started, were there any like highs and lows that you did go through? Like, man, maybe this isn't for me. I'm not making money from it or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's always waking up and being like, oh my God, am I going to make money today? Like, and I still have that all the time. So like I guess the low is every day that you don't get someone contacting you or you landing a job. It's great. Like every day is a high and low. The highs are obviously getting that booking, meeting that wedding couple. It's every day is a roller coaster. But I guess the lowest part is, let's start with the highest part. Having a personal project or like a vision that you want to execute, and then you doing it in practice and then someone seeing it and say, I want that. And that was something like that came from my look or idea that I had in my head. A low is always like, I guess I kind of started off young. I've only been in the game for like 4 or 5 years, but that's pretty young, like compared to everybody else in the area. So a low would be like, maybe at the beginning when I thought I was good enough to get a certain job, and then not having the portfolio to show for it, but I know I could do it if I had the opportunity or the resources or the money. Like at the beginning, it is all about shooting and getting your work out there. But then after a while, it's you got to invest back in yourself, and not having the financial investments to do that is tough. So it's all steps, like starting off shooting that trolley picture downtown in the snow, and then moving forward to seniors, shooting a bunch of seniors, kind of saving up money, investing in equipment, investing in time, and like, even though like at the time I wasn't making a ton on seniors, it was still relevant to where I was. Like, it's still a good business practice to grind in that area before you take another step, because you don't want to take another step and then get a reputation of not making it, and then, you know what I mean? Like failing a bunch of times, but you gotta fail. So yeah, taking those steps it's a roller coaster every day, like knowing to stay in your lane for a bit and when the next time to change lanes is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
How long would you say you spent in the free market where you were doing work for free?
So I think I bought my first camera in the end of 2017, like September. No. It was later. It was like November, December, because it was snowing during that first time that I used it. I think that the first time that I got asked to, or that someone paid me to take a photo, was about April the following. But
2018.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So about 4 or 5 months. So I would say that 6-7 months I was out there just shooting whatever I could find, think of whatever. Yeah, the first paid shoot, I was just thinking about this the other day. The first paid shoot I had was a senior from Case, and looking back at those pictures, it's like, compared to where I am now.
Yeah.
I mean, they were great shots. They were creative shots, but I came a long way since then.
I
for
find
sure.
myself saying that all the time. When I look back at my old episodes, I'm like, ooh, I
Like,
need to
why
take
did I say
down.
that?
I didn't need to take that down, you know?
Yeah,
But
right. No, you should keep it up. Like,
I definitely will.
or at least have it archived, because it's always good to look back. I got a stack of prints back when I thought like I'd be selling prints. People don't buy prints, like they do like for their wall, like art maybe, or from their wedding, but like. I'm not getting. You had Matt Schulte on recently. Like, if I took a basketball shot of him, he's not going to print it. He's going to post it.
Yeah.
But I have a stack of prints back when I thought prints were going to be a thing, and then there's a few in there. And it's like, oh, I want to rip that up, but
Yeah.
I want to keep it until I'm like 50 years old and be like, your dad took that crappy picture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just tell us a little bit about the traveling aspect of you and your content, because I see you all over the place. Were you just in Hawaii? It looked like. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was in Hawaii a year ago. That's a good story I should tell in a minute. But yeah, traveling, like back in October, I was contacted. No, in September, I was contacted to go out to Kansas 2 weeks after I was contacted. It's a crazy world that any given day I could wake up and they'd be like, well, we need you in Oregon or Kansas in a week from now. I was shooting a commercial in Kansas, and it just brings you to like the random places. And that was one of my favorite places, middle of nowhere, Kansas, like farmland for as far as you can see. It's even flatter than Wisconsin. And then like even for weddings, I'm shooting a wedding in Jamaica next year.
Oh, wow.
In Montana this summer. Like any given day, somebody could just be like, let's go here, and I need you to take photos. It's a pretty cool experience. Then when I'm there, I always kind of like to talk to locals, see if it's a place that like I could see myself relocating to. I haven't found that place yet. I just love Kenosha way too much to.
Yeah.
It's a safe bet to live here. So it's traveling is. It's easy to do when you live in Wisconsin, where we do, where it's a relatively affordable place to live. So I think the location, like when you see travelers on Instagram all the time, they're probably from towns like Kenosha or smaller, but they just make it look so much like their lives are so much more lavish. But yeah, traveling's fun. It can be a hassle bringing all my gear and stuff. I mean, you got all of these lights here and cameras. Just imagine like trying to fly with that.
Yeah,
it's
pretty expensive too.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great when I'm like posting on Instagram, but I might get poured on for that shot. Or actually, when I was in Oregon last week, I bent down and my phone fell out of my pocket down a waterfall.
Oh no!
And I didn't realize it until like 3 minutes later. And then I got the shot. it was worth it to me because I got a dope shot out of it. So when you're traveling, anything can happen. So any given day, anything can happen. Any given trip, anything can happen. It's pretty cool.
Just how good does that make you feel to just know that you're like the hot commodity? You can wake up and just live how you want to live.
Yeah, I mean, I was the other day I was talking to my grandma about it, and every time I talked to her about work, she's like, "Did you ever think you would be where you are now? Did you ever think you'd be going here and there?" It's a good feeling. Like, it's at a certain point, like, I guess during the pandemic, like everybody, I was, can we swear here?
Yeah.
I was scared shitless about my job. Like, I posted on Facebook, like, anybody hiring, whatever, I'm not getting any money in. But after a while, doing the time in the steps, going like in my field, now that I've done enough time in seniors and weddings, it's a great feeling to kind of have that financial security in a way. I mean, I'm never secure because I'm self-employed.
Yeah.
But having like doing my time in those areas, it gives you a good reputation and doing it right. I mean, if you have good business practices, just like a podcast, like if you keep the conversation flowing, if you're posting like you should and not saying some wild crazy stuff that like gets you bad publicity, which can be hard for a podcast. But yeah, like it's a good feeling when I can wake up and like just yesterday I met with a wedding couple and they said, "We're booking you before our venue," and I just think that's crazy.
Yeah.
You don't even have a place, but you want to book me. That's so wild. I love that. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
Yes, sir. So when would you say your fame came for the high schoolers? Because I see you at the high school games all the time. How did that come about?
Yeah. I don't know. Just doing the sports shots. I didn't know when I started that I was going to be this. Like, when I got a camera, I never thought I was going to be doing this full time.
Really?
Like, I thought I was going to be on TV telling the weather. And that was the dream for the longest time. And I don't know, connecting with just taking good pictures, making people look good is what they want. Like giving kids like those dope shots to post. Like, I get it. I'm not much older than them. We're not much older than them. It's not like I'm shooting with a film camera or out of touch with the look and the trends and everything. But the one I can remember this night, every single time I like step in St. Joe's gym. Before this night, I probably would have never stepped in their gym. But the last 2 basketball games before the pandemic, before everything got shut down, I put a poll out on Instagram. I maybe had 1,500 followers then, not thinking like I would get anybody from these schools. But it was Case and St. Joe's were playing separate places, same time. And I just put out like however many comments gets whatever, like comment St. Joe's counts for a vote. Comment Case count for vote. The whole school of St. Joe's showed up in my comments to get me to come to their game, and I would have never came to their game if it wasn't for that. And then, like, I think since then, like, I kind of built I kind of entered their community a little bit, which they have a great sense of family there. It's really cool. And they have a great place in Kenosha too, which we went to Bradford. I never knew anybody from St. Joe's back then. Yeah. Never. But now, like, I know all these families. It's super great. And they're all really great families. And, so I went to that game, and I walked in, the coach shook my hand, like, who the hell are you? Like, you know me? Like, just from, and this poll was up on Instagram for maybe 9 hours. And I think I picked up maybe 800 followers. St. Joe's, they're one school. They have middle school and elementary school. So I got kids like commenting 10 times in cases trying to keep up or whatever. But I'll never forget that, because that was the last basketball game I shot before the whole shutdown happened. And then it was great timing. Like after that, I really picked up at St. Joe's. And then like you see on Instagram, like all the Bradford Trampolini Trail, everybody wants to one up each other. So it's a fun little thing crazy that goes on Instagram. It's wild.
And what's funny now for me, it's like I'm getting like the higher ups now, like the athletic directors of the programs coming up to me, hey, are you going to be here next week? I'm like, wait, who are you again? They're like, oh, I'm the athletic director up here. Or you'll get the parents coming up to you, oh my God, I love what you're doing and everything like that.
Yeah.
It has to be a good feeling because you're doing it at such a higher level than I can't even fathom being on the level you're
That's
on.
a really important step, though, because maybe 3 years ago, I was getting coaches and players asking me to come to games, and then I don't know if I'd make any money on prints or downloads or whatever. But now I have people that'll like pay me to show up to games to shoot them. I don't get paid every time I show up to an event. Sometimes I'm doing it for fun, just to I have nothing else to do or whatever. But that where you are now is kind of the step before where I was getting people to actually like shell out before I show up, and that's the best because now you're getting paid to do what you love,
exactly,
and getting paid for the things that you were kind of just doing. So yeah, it's you're right there.
My dude.
Yeah.
That being said, young man, we just wrapped up an amazing episode of Line for Line. We appreciate you for sliding through.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm so insecure, I'm so insecure. I'm so insecure, I'm so insecure. Yeah, yeah. I'm so insecure, I'm so insecure. I'm so